Hello friends, welcome back. In the previous class we have seen how do we create the accessor methods, setters and getters, and we have seen how do we pass a structure by reference and what it does. And here the name of this function I have given display. Actually I should give it as a modify function name because that will be more intuitive or meaningful, right? So here I should write modify. And remember that your code should be clean. Normally clean code, you will be having a terminology called clean code. Some people or maybe in interviews, maybe they can ask you what do you mean by clean code? Clean code means a code which is easily understandable. If I do not write the comments, without writing comments also, if I see this code, I can very easily understand that okay, this function is for setting x, this function is for getting x, this function is for set y, this function is for get y, okay, this one is for modifying purpose. So I can easily understand. If I write here display, then it is not much more intuitive, not understandable easily what actually that function does, right? The name is display, but it is doing something else inside. The first thing is your code must and should be easily understandable. Okay, that is the first property of clean code. And the second property of the clean code is your code must be easily modifiable. The code must be easily modifiable. Okay, if you understand, you can modify easily, right? So your code must and should be easily modifiable. And the third thing is your code must and should be easily testable. You can be able to test your code easily. That means you can put a breakpoint and understand the codes. You can do unit testing, integration testing. So different kinds of testings you can do very easily. Okay, that is the third property. If you can add few more properties, like that is must and should be properly indented, proper naming convention should be followed, well documented. Those are all the properties of clean code, I say. But the most important major four things you can say is code should be understandable, easily modifiable, easily tested, and well documented. So these are the four properties of clean code. If anybody asks, you can say now, right? Remember that I'm going to delete this one because we are not going to use that. And remember that the setters and getter methods, why we use, what are the importance of them. Now let us take, as you can see, we have made the fields private, and of course we cannot access them directly, right? I cannot directly access x and y by instance name dot, then the field name. I cannot access them directly outside this block. So we made the accessor methods so that we can access them outside the data structure. The accessor methods, they are single responsible. That means set method is responsible for just setting the value to the field. Get method is responsible for getting the value of one field, right? And it takes only one parameter. Explicitly you can pass to setters only one parameter, get only one value returned back. If you create one more, if you add one more parameter to it, then it will not be called as a setter method. That you should remember. It is called as a general method, I say. Just normal method. It's not a setter. So setters are going to be like this. Now let us take, if you want to make this field only readable, you cannot write it. That means you cannot set a value to this one. How do you make that? What you need to do, you need not to write the setter for it. If you do not write the setter for it, if you write only getter for that field, then you can only access that field, right? You can only get x will give you this dot x. You can read it, but you cannot set the value now because it is private. Directly you cannot access, and you have not written any method, an interface which helps you to assign a value to x. Let us take you want to make this y only writable, not readable. Then you need not to write get y method, right? Getter, if you do not write, now you have made x and y X is only readable, Y is only writable. You can see that one. If I say point P1 is equal to new point, so P1 dot, you can see P1 dot has no setter. That means you cannot set the value to X. Set X is not there. You cannot set. You cannot directly access the X also. And you can see if you want to, you can set only Y. You cannot get Y value back. So your Y is only writable. I hope you guys have understood now. That's good. Now let us proceed further. And if you want to make the member or a field both readable as well as writable, then you are going to write setter as well as getter for that. Now what we are going to do in this class means we are going to create setters and getters for every structure or a class that we have created till now. So here we have all the designs. So I'm going to take one by one the designs. Okay, I'm taking these designs one by one. I copy them and paste it in my code, and we are going to write the setters and getters for them. So public void set X float value, it takes one value, and it says this dot X equals to value. It is its responsibility. I'm just telling you how do you write yourself code. Get X is going to return. Okay, so it is going to return this dot X. That is its responsibility. Okay, so public void set Y is going to take a float value, one value it takes, and that also it assigns to Y. This dot Y is equals to value. Then we are going to create a public float which returns the value of Y. So get Y we are going to create, and of course it is going to return this dot Y. So we have created the setters and getters for these methods, and we have our code. So this code is our latest code. I just save it. I will come back and see that we should not have any error message, right? Only warnings. And I can take this code, copy this, and keep it in another notepad file. Let me right click, create a new text document, and this is going to be designs 2. So in this designs 2, I'm going to paste that code, and of course in design 1, just copy this code and paste it to design 2. Okay, this is our code now. What actually we are doing means at the end of the day or end of the few tutorials, we want to make our proper designs for these problems. That is our responsibility. Okay, so we have designs and designs 2. Let's proceed for the next structure. Okay, let us copy this code, copy that, and Control A, Control V. Now this is our class. Of course we have tried the setters and getters. Now for writing the setters and getter, what I do is I'm going to copy from here because I do not want to type everything again. So from here to here, set X, set Y, get Y. I just copy this and paste them here. So here you can see we have written for X and Y setters and getters. I hope you guys will understand yourself these things. It's not a difficult task. I just save it and come back to Unity. We should not have any error message except the warnings. I clear this and I Control A, copy this code and keep it in the designs 2. That is our class now, latest structure. Point class, setter X, get Y, and point constructors. That's what we have used. Next, let me copy this and paste it twice down so that indicates we have completed one data structure. Next we go to the design 1 again, and we are going to get the next data structure. Okay, I copy this code from here and I paste in this place. Now this time you can see we have tried the setter and getter for X, Y, and the radius also. So at present I am just going to copy the setter and getter for X and Y that I can reuse. Okay, I copy that and write here. Okay, but I need to write the setter and getter for the radius, right guys? So public float set radius. You can see the naming convention how I am using. You people also follow some naming convention, it is good. So here I say this dot radius is equals to the value that we pass to it, and of course set radius is going to be wide, it is not returning anything back. So public float get radius is the function. Its responsibility is to return this dot radius. So we have written the setters and getters for all the three properties, and we have the constructors also. I can save this, come back to Unity to check out we don't have any error messages, and I just clear this one. I copy this code, which is a structure we have made this just now, and I paste it down over here. I just save it, and that will be a one part. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm doing. Next I need to create a class. So for class I think I just need to change this to class. That's it. CLASS class. I just save it and everything will be okay. Okay, for class we will be having the default constructor, right? So public circle, the default constructor we will be having, which is going to set this dot x equal to 0, this dot y equal to 0, and this dot radius equal to 0. That is what it does. So that is our class. Setters, getters, everything is there, and we don't have any error message. That's good. So I'm going to copy this code, keep it aside in design 2, paste it, and we are going to copy this and paste it down twice. Okay, let's go to design 1 and let's write a code for the rectangle. Right up to here I need to copy this, come here and paste the code. I think you know what I'm doing now. Okay, here we need to create the setters and getters for x and y and width and height. As it is a structure, it is not going to have a default constructor, so only I need to add the setters and getters for this. So first thing, I can copy the setters x and y, setters and getters for them, right? I can add them here. So we have the setter for x, setter, getter for x, setter for y, getter for y. Now we need to have the setter and getter for width and height. So wide, I can say here set width function, which is going to take a float value, and what it does, it just sets this dot, come on, this dot width is equals to the value that we pass to it, and we are also going to create a getter. So public float, it is going to return the width, get width function, and its responsibility is to return this dot width. That's it. Now I am going to create the setter and getter for the set height, HEIGST height, and its responsibility is to set this dot height, and of course it is going to return the name of the getter is get height, HEIGST, and it returns this dot height. That's it. So I just save it. This is our code for rectangle with setters and getters and the default parameterized and copy constructor that we have, and the code is ready. I just save it, Control A, copy this. I just check that there should not be any error message. Okay, we have only warnings. That's okay. So we can come to design 2 and paste it here, right? You can see that now you people are more better. I hope so. You are understanding coding. How do we write codes? What is next? Next is to create a class. Of course, I have to write here just class. You can change this to class, and we have to add the default constructor, public rectangle is our default constructor. What it does, it just sets this dot x equal to 0, this dot y equal to 0, this dot width equal to 0, this dot height equal to 0. Okay, just save it and say copy this one and check out. There should not be any error message, right? We don't have any error message. That is good, and I can paste it in the design too. So we have created a class also, rectangle class with setters and getters, everything. That's good. Now we go to the next data structure that we have. The next data structure that we have is a Vector2D. So I am going to copy this code Vector2D from here, and I just paste it over here. And it has only two members, x and y. I have to make them private. That's important because we have to make them private. They should not be accessible directly to the outside world. That is our intention. We use setters and getters to add, right? So I just go back to the data structures which I have kept public. So rectangle, if I do not write, they are anyhow by default private, so I need not to worry about that. Here structures by default private, so I need not to worry about that also. And here circle class, I have to make them private because they should be not accessible directly to the outside world. Private. You can see, guys, I might have made mistakes. Please, you know now what to do. So please make modifications yourself. So here I should write private. Here I should write private so that they cannot be accessible directly. Here also I should make them private. They should not be accessible outside world. So private. And here also I need to make them private so that they should not be accessible outside, right? That's it. So we made modifications proper. I hope there is no problem now. All are private, right? Yeah. Here by default they are private. If you want to write, you write, otherwise it's okay. Here by default anyhow they are private, so need not to worry about that. Good. Next, we are going to write a setters and getters for x and y for the Vector2D. So x and y. So it's a data structure struct, and it has no default construct. That's okay. I just save it. I think there is no problem now. We have created the design. Let's come back. We should not have any error message. Yep, we don't have any error message. So I can copy this code, paste it in design 2 here. We have written a code for Vector2D data structure also with setters and getters and with default constructors, and I can use that one. I can use setters and getters to modify Vector1, Vector2, Vector3, do any other operations. Okay, I just copy this and paste it at the end. Now what I do, I just change this to class Vector2D. We have setters and getters. Only thing I need to have is a default constructor. Its name is Vector2D, and its responsibility is to initialize the members with the default values x equal to 0, this dot y equal to 0. So I just save this and come back. We should not have any error message, right? Only warnings are there, and our members are private. They cannot be accessible directly outside. I just take this, I copy this code and paste it in the design 2. Now we have written a class also for Vector2D. I just copy this and paste it down twice. That's good. Let's write a code for the next one, that is class we have written already. Now I have given class or not? No. Class we have written. Structure also we have done for Vector2D. So we have to go for Vector3D. So struct Vector3D, just copy this one and Control A, Control V. So this is our structure. By default they are private, so I need not to worry about that one to write here private. Of course we need to add the setters and getters for x, y as well as z. At present we have the setter and getter for x and y. I can copy that and use that here, right? And for z I have to write, so I just copy this one, paste down, and this one I make set z, takes a value, sets z value, and it gets z, gets the z value, returns this dot z. So I just save it. So that is our structure design, and come to the code and let us check it out. Do we have any error? Oh, we have an error message called type namespace mono behavior could not be found. And what is that? We are using the mono behavior here. We are missing the Unity engine, using Unity engine here at the top. So using Unity engine, I just save it and come back. Okay, we don't have any errors, only warnings. So I can use this design aside. I just copy this one, I just paste it over here. I just copy this here and paste it down. I just save that. Now we need a class Vector3D. So I just say here class, and everything is okay. Only I need to add is a default constructor, public Vector3D, that is to be having, that I have to have here, this dot x equal to 0, this dot y equal to 0, this dot z equal to 0. So you can see every method has a single responsibility to perform. Okay, I just copy this code and check first whether we have any error message or not. Don't have any error message, so I can take that and keep in the design too. Okay, so we made a Vector3D with setters and getters. Now let's check it out. Any other design we have? We have another design. Vector3D class is over. We have this design, that is MyGameObject, which is having many properties now. So I can copy that and paste here. So this time MyGameObject, we have used the variable x position, y position, z position, vx, vy, vz. I can just change them. I want to change wherever the x position, y position and z position is returned. I want to change them to x so that it is easy for me to write the setters and getters for them. So I just select and write Control H. Okay, so what Control H will give you is a text box. The text, first text field takes the text you want to modify, and the next text field takes to which that text to be modified. So expose need to be changed to x. I can click on all. You can see all these places are going to change to x. You can see that this become x, this become x, this become x, right? And here also down you can see. So same thing I do for y position. So this one is going to be y pose. I want to change that to y and change to all. Then I select z pose, I change that to z, change all places. Now we have x, y, z, velocity in x, velocity in y, velocity in z. That's good. I can close it now. Okay, I just save that. We come back. We should not have any error message after modifying also. We just change the name of the variable. That's it. Not much. Now what we do, we need the setters and getters for all these members, and they are by default private, so I need not to worry about that. So what I can do, I can just copy these setters for x, y and z. We have just now written in a Vector3D. So x, y, z up to here. I can copy that and just paste it down here. So we have a setter and getter for x, y, z, but we don't have a setter and getter for velocity in x, velocity in y, velocity in z. So what I can do is I can paste once again, right here, just change the name of the function. So here set velocity in x, it takes a value, assigns the value to vx, that is its responsibility, returns a float, that is get vx, is a function which returns the velocity in x. So its responsibility is to return this dot vx. So this one is vy, it takes the value, sets the vy. So this one I'm going to change to get vy, and this is going to be our vy function returning, right? And this is going to be vz, takes the value, sets vz, and this one is going to be get vz, returns the value of vz, right? This dot velocity in z. Now we have a setters and getters for all the members. Okay, I hope I have not made any mistakes. I can save this. Now I check back. We should not have any error message. We don't have any error message, only warnings are there. That's okay. So I'm going to select this, copy this code and keep it in design2 file. So we have a proper code or a design for MyGameObject, which I can use later also. Copy that and paste it down. Then of course I need to have for class. So class MyGameObject, we have setters and getters. Only one thing I need to add is the default constructor, that I can take it from here also. From the designs we have the default constructor in the class MyGameObject. That is what it is. I can copy that. I can paste it just over here. That is the responsibility of the default constructor. Just save that and check out. We should not have any error message. Oh, we have MyGameObject does not contain the definition for expose y post. Oh, come on. Of course, these are all I need to change, right? This one I should have x, this one I should have y, this one I should have z, and then save it and come back. Okay, now we don't have any warnings. Now we created a class for MyGameObject with setters and getters. Everything is properly created. You see that? Now you are able to create codes, I hope so. Control A, copy this and paste it in this design2. I'll just copy this and paste that down twice. Okay, just save it. So I hope you guys have understood how do we write setters and getters or use in different places. So for this class, this much is enough. I hope you guys have understood. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial. Keep learning. Keep coding.